Hey there, are you ready for a challenge? And I know you are. In this lesson, we're going to be creating a miles to kilometers converter. So we're going to need a few things. We're going to need a prompt to ask the user for an input of the number of miles. And then behind the scenes, using JavaScript and what you've learned in the earlier lessons, we're going to take that and we're going to convert it into kilometers. And the ratio to convert 1 mile to 1 kilometer is 1.60934. So I've got it here within the guide. So you get bonus points for using a template literal to create the output of the message and output that prompt value into the console. And there's also a bonus if you remember how to convert a data type into a number. So taking that input, doing a conversion to a number, make sure that it is a number, output it, do the conversion, do the multiplication, output the message into the console, just like we've got here within the example. So go ahead, pause the video, try this out, and I'll walk you through the solution coming up. First, create a variable in order to capture the input from the user, so we can use number of miles as our variable, and then creating a prompt in order to make the capture and ask the question, how many miles? And this will serve as the variable that we're going to use going forward. So when we add that in, of course, we get the prompt and we get that number being returned back. So we're not doing anything with it yet. We can log it out to the console if we want at this point and do number of miles. And then also, we can also see that when we get that input, that this is going to be a string. So we want to convert it into a number. So the way to do that is to use the conversion type. So we can take that variable and we can wrap it with number and place the variable within it. And this will, in fact, turn it into a number, a numeric data type. And then we can use that in order to do the multiplication. So you see the difference between the black and the blue is actually do our full conversion. So we're going to create another variable and we can call this one kilo value. And this is where we're taking the number of miles and we're multiplying it by that magic number of 1.60934. We can console log that number out just to make sure that we're still on track before we try to use it and output it into the console. So now we're asking for how many miles. We say 5. So we take an input that's a string type. We convert it into a number and then we multiply it by the value. And this is going to return back the number of miles that is, or number of kilometers that is equal to 5 miles. Now we're ready to create our message, and this is our message output that we're going to use for the user. So we can give it another variable name, and I'm going to call it message. And we did say that we want to do the template literals, and that was from one of the earlier lessons where we used the backticks. So that's just above the tab beside to the left of the 1 key on your keyboard or on most keyboards. And this is the $sign, the curly brackets. And then in here is where you place the variable that you want to use. So in this case, I want to use the number of miles. And this is that value that was input. And make sure that you stay within those backticks. Miles is equal to, and then you can formulate your own response here, response message. And then this is where we've got our kilo value that we're going to be returning back. So returning back that kilo value to the user. And then lastly, all we have to do is output it into the console so that we get our message and we can complete the assignment. So refresh, asking how many miles. We're going to take 6, and we're going to see that 6 miles is equal to 9.656 kilometers. Great job on completing this. See you in the next one.